Alright, hi everybody, welcome to a new video. This video is so long in the making. This was meant to come out like a week ago, 2 weeks maybe at this point. Week and a half, we'll call it even. And it is a video on the decks I'm playing. A little caveat, originally it was going to include a Demon Hunter build by Papa Jason, which I showed in the last video. But I don't know, I have not had a lot of success with that deck, and I don't feel like I can talk about the deck well enough to do it justice. I have some other decks I'm playing in the works that I'm kind of learning a little better and liking. I'm really enjoying a few of them, but you'll probably see at least one of those in the video this week. And I don't know, I kind of feel like Spell Mage I get. And quick background on what the deck is and what its win conditions are. So the deck is right here, I guess right there. It's mirrored for me. The deck has no minions in it, and the goal of the deck, as Raron said in his video for this deck, is that you just play the deck. The deck does completely random things, and we'll get into those in a little bit, and you just kind of create tempo and burn. I was in Wicked Good stream last night for a little bit, and he was playing Resurrect Priest, and I say that and I kind of want to throw up, but Wicked Good's a great guy. It was a really fun stream, and I did warn him that against Spell Mage you should watch out for burn, because they have a lot of reach in this deck. Unfortunately, they did not prove my point. He went 7-0 with Res Priest, and again, hurts to say that. But let's get into what this deck tries to do. I'm going to show you guys a game after this is all done, but let's get into it. Let's get into the first aspect, and that is RNG. So, a lot of this deck is random. It generates random minions, but the three main kind of cards in this deck that generate a ton of randomness are the Amazing Reno, and if you don't know, he is the hero card that at the start of your turn, his hero powers generate and play a random spell. And it can be anything. It can be really good for you or really bad for you. Surprisingly, a lot of games that I play with the Amazing Reno tend to be pretty good for me. I don't know, I'm just lucky. I should start gambling. No, don't start gambling. Gambling's bad. If you have a problem, please seek the correct and appropriate help. The next card is Evocation. Evocation is kind of like your last resort card. If you don't have a hand and your opponent is the enemy is at the gates, you play this, fill your hand with random spells, and hope you are able to use them to generate and win control of the board. Again, it's a 1-mana spell. You fill your hand with made spells. At the end of the turn, though, you do discard them. Anything you can't play, you gotta get rid of. So think through those turns really well. You get random cards, and they might even be more evocations, but they use them to the best of their abilities. And the last one is everyone's favorite, and this is the reason Dragoncaster was nerfed, is the Puzzle Box of Yogg-Saron. Cast 10 random spells, targets chosen randomly. You use this card when you are behind on board and your opponent has a bunch of stuff and you kind of just cross your fingers. Because the spell pool is pretty small right now, there's only four sets right now in there, plus the basic and classic set. Most spells are pretty good that you're going to cast, but I imagine as the year goes on, as we get the next 2 expansions, this card will be less good. But 10 random spells that do random things and you can't stop them, it's pretty powerful. But these 2 spells right here, Incanter's Flow and Fonts of Power, are probably the standouts in this deck. I would say in all matchups you keep this in your hand. Incanter's Flow reduces the cost of every spell in your deck by 1. Every card except for the Amazing Reno is a spell card. You cast 2 of these, most of your spells are free. It takes less mana. You can play them on tempo, on curve. It's really powerful. And again, with this one, if you discount Evocation even once, it's 0 mana, and you have 10 mana to work with random spells in your hand. And the other one is Font of Power. It says discover a mage minion. If your deck has no minions, you keep all 3. Again, our deck has no duplicates. So you just keep 3 minions. One thing to be aware of with this deck is you can generate Malagos, and the dragon minion pool in the mage minion pool, that was a weird thing to say, the dragon minion pool in the mage minion pool is pretty small, so you may not always be able to activate Malagos, so keep that in mind. But let's talk about spells that generate tempo. There's another one here, but we'll get to that one in a second. The first one is Learn Draconic. It is a side quest, meaning you just kind of play it and it hangs out where your secrets do. And you spend 8 mana on spells, and you summon a 6/6 dragon. Keep in mind, if the spells are discounted, they will count for their discounted cost. So if you pay a 0-cost spell, either because it's discounted or off Ancient Mysteries, it won't count. But you get a 6/6 dragon when it's done, and it's a pretty big tempo swing. A lot of decks, especially board-based decks, small board-based decks, don't really have a way to deal with it, especially if you've been containing their board pretty well. Apex Blast is deal 5 damage. If your deck contains no minions, summon a random 5-cost minion. And that's really good. If you guys are playing in the Gadgetzan meta, there was a card called Firelands Portal, which cost 7 and did the same thing, but you didn't need to have a minion. Because our deck doesn't run minions, this is really good. This can go face too, and sometimes you just use it for burn. And then we got Power of Creation. It's discover a 6-cost minion and summon 2 of them. This card is really good. This card gets Kaurut Defender, it gets taunts, it gets sticky death rattles. This card is really good, and it's really good when it only costs 6 to play. Again, that's because of the Encanter's flow, so keep that in mind, and you usually play it when you want to get board back, so keep that in mind that it's probably going to be used to defend your face or get board back. That's a good place to actually get into this real quick. This deck has no minions, but it's a tempo deck. What I mean by that is you use your spells as your tempo. You use these spells to generate tempo and to take control over the board, and then hit them with big minions or burn them out because they've traded into your minions or your minions have hit them a few times. So think of it that way. This is not really a control deck. It can play like a control deck, especially against aggressive decks, but you're using your spells for tempo. This deck does run secrets. My version that I've been playing runs a 3rd secret called Netherwind Portal. Some decks are not running that. They have dropped it, and probably a Blizzard for another Ice Barrier and another Flame Ward. These are kind of some defensive options. Netherwind Portal does create tempo. It summons a 4-cost minion, but the defensive options are when your hero is attacked, gain 8 armor. It's kind of like mini healing. It is the only healing in the deck, so it's sometimes beneficial run too. I was talking in the Coin Concede Discord, and they were kind of saying, no, this card's really good, because I was thinking about cutting it. But no, they said keep this card in the deck for sure. And Flame Ward is when your hero is attacked, afterwards deal 3 damage to all enemy minions. So you take damage first. So if you're playing against a mage and they have a secret attack with the biggest guy first, or the thing that's probably not going to survive, and then the rest can attack, this card's really good, especially against aggro decks right now. Demon Hunter, this card kind of just wipes. Murloc Paladin usually wipes unless they have Divine Shields, but usually that card is pretty good board reset for you. And then we have Burn, and this is kind of your end game, and Apex Blast should be in this slide also, but your 2 main sources of damage are Fireball, deal 6 damage, and Frostbolt Bolt, deal 3 damage. Against controlling decks, Priest and Mage, you really want to keep these cards till you can get lethal. They don't really have a board presence, so you don't need to use your Fireball on one of their minions. You don't need to use your Frostbolt to really freeze stuff. You have other cards like Ray of Frost, Blizzard, and Deep Freeze to freeze cards. Frostbolt should go face. So, real quick, your matchup spread is pretty good against slower decks. So Reno Mage, Galakron Priest, and Quest Warlock, you're usually pretty favored against. You want to take control of board with your spells, summon 6-cost minions, 6/6 dragons, summon 5 drops, and kind of just make them use their removal and then burn them out. Against board-based decks, you're looking to be a little more defensive, so that's why it may be beneficial to cut a Blizzard and a Netherwind Portal for those other secrets. And against those decks, you're not really worried about using your burn for their face, more for the board. But generate minions. Know that you probably are in favored in those matchups. You're in favored against Hunter, probably Demon Hunter, and probably Murloc Paladin. So just know your matchup, and I think those matchups are fun because you get to kind of play with it and be like, okay, what's going to work in the future? And if I somehow win, great. But if I lose, I'm betting with house money, right? So I'm going to link the deck's description in the deck code in the description. I cannot talk tonight. I'm sorry, guys. And I will see you guys later. I'm going to play the video, and I'll just remind you of all this at the end of it. But subscribe. I'm going to be dropping a few more videos. I think that my work volume needs to go up a little bit. I don't think one video a week is great, so we're going to probably drop some more games, some more deck lists occasionally, so subscribe for those. Like the video, share, and you can follow me on Twitter at SamSeesGhosts. I will see you guys all in the next one. Have a good one.
Jaina versus Anduin. The light shall bring
So
victory.
this is the game I'm going to show you guys. This is a Priest versus Spell Mage matchup, and it's really satisfying to beat a Priest. Spoilers. So I kept Ancient Mysteries because I'm looking for Netherwind Portal. Priests tend to play a lot of spells. It's kind of good to get a 4 cost out early. Drawing that Incanter's Flow was awesome. It's gonna be my turn 2 play for sure. It's gonna end. Disciple of Galakron does not scare me. I think I'm thinking about coining. Nope. Am I gonna do it? I don't. In retrospect, if I coin, that's a bad idea. Okay, good. Past me did not coin. So he's gonna play Ooze. He knows I have no weapon. Little does he know, he should save Puzzle Box. Don't actually save stuff for Puzzle Box. So I go Secret Mysteries there, hoping to get the Portal. I don't. I get Ice Barrier. I'm just gonna go ahead and play it. I think the right play there might have been to Incanter's Flow. It's good to get that stuff done early so your burn in the late game costs less. So he goes in, I heal for 8. It's not really a big deal. He's going to discover a spell in his deck, and I don't remember what it is. You should also be aware that turn 3 is really good for Apotheosis. I don't think you coin out Flame Ward there. Just something to be aware of. It's also, you should note that Reno is really good in this matchup. So I'll tell you why in a second, but I did Incanter's Font of Power there to get some minis in hand. I'm not really worried about his board, and so that's probably better to generate value rather than worry about his board. But the reason Reno is so good in this matchup is because a lot of times they'll get big buffed boards, some with Death Rattles because of Grave Rune, and Reno just clears it all with no issue. So I'm going to play the guy who, the 2-3 that when I play a secret I get to discover a spell, play Flame Ward. I don't think I take Vaporize. I don't think that's the right play. Rolling Fireball is the right play. Again, I'm just trying to keep his board clear so he can't buff it. So he's going to trade into that. He should definitely trade into that. Then he's going to go face. So, I mean, my guy dies. I lose my board, but he did what he should have done. He invokes again. It's a random minion. I'm pretty thankful he hasn't buffed yet, because if he buffed with Apotheosis on, say, the Ooze, the ward wouldn't have killed him, and that would have been pretty bad. Play a 0 mana Learn Draconic there. Like I said earlier in the video, that's a really good card. Getting 6/6s is pretty good. I think I keep the Khadgar for it, but I think I mess it up. So you might see a massive little misplay there. We'll talk about it when we get there. But yes, Khadgar does work with the quest. If you summon 2 6/6 dragons. It is everyone's favorite card in the game. Disguised Infiltrator. Forgot the name for a second. I don't think I should Blizzard here. I really think I should draw. Past me's making some weird plays. I guess I'm kind of thinking to weaken him up a bit with a dormant minion that's going to deal 2 to everything, and then I can Rolling Fireball whatever else he goes into. But he's going to summon a 2/2 copy of that. I think this board is actually pretty easy to clear with Rolling Fireball. So pat on the back, that was a good play. So my guy, my imprisoned watcher dies. And I think this is the misplay right here. So my misplay is Rolling Fireball. I don't think gets me to 6. Oh, no, it isn't. It does get me to the 8 mana I have to spend. But Khadgar dies, and before the spell goes off. And I thought what would happen is that the quest would complete, I'd get 2 dragons, and then one minion would die. It doesn't work that way. So it looks like he's playing some dragons. We kind of knew that from his... The minion that if you're holding a dragon discovers a spell. I'm going to play it, get a 5/5 out, ping the 3/6, and draw some cards. Puzzle Box, most fair card in this deck. We go face for 6. There's no reason for us to trade into his guy when we have a board, when we're ahead on board. So he plays his Galakron. I think it's been invoked twice, so it kills my minions. Yeah. Now, one thing to note is his hero power can no longer heal. It's not a big deal. He has other healing cards in his deck. Now his hero power does value. But the ability for him not to heal every turn is pretty good. And it kind of gets our burn plan a little closer. So that is something to think about. Priest, if they go into Galakron, has a finite amount of healing unless they just renew into Infinity Renew. So I'm thinking about what to do here. I guess I'm going to deep freeze his 4/5 and ping face. I don't know. You probably could have gone Power of Creation there. Priest isn't really attacking board, so being able to kind of develop bigger minions, because 6 drops are bigger than 3 6s, is probably better. So he does get one of my cards, and it's Frostbolt. So that is also something to note, that if Priest steals your card from your deck, it is discounted. It's very fun. It's a very fun thing that Priest does. And he's going to Penance and heal. We get another Apex Blast. So yeah, my minions are at 3. So he will be able to kill it if that minion dies. So I'm trying to think what to do, if I want to freeze or actually kill it. Or just go Power and Creation. I think going into Power Creation is probably the right play. It's the play I should have done last turn. We know he's trying to kill my board, so we play the Cane. We're going to go face and freeze his face. Obviously, Priest is a class that likes to attack. I think that the deep freeze was definitely a suboptimal play. So now he can't clear my board fully. He has to... I think this game gets wild, by the way. If this is the game I'm thinking of, it gets wild. He knows he can't clear my board. The Beast, Death Hour works for me. Joke's on him. No, joke is not on him. The Beast is not a good card, but it's a beat stick. Luckily, I do have Reno in my hand. So he's going to trade. Trade again. He's going to do some more trading. He has board right now. And it's a pretty scary board. There is 27 damage showing. I'm just going to Reno. The value of my Death Rattles is actually not that important. It's the value of my spells that's more important. So we clear his board. His big scary board is no longer there, which is great. And he's going to discount the cost of his cards again. And play Skeletal Dragon. This is part of the issue with Renoing. Reno can oftentimes still get you back behind on board, and the random secret is not what we're looking for. I think we end up Yogg boxing here to keep trying to get the board. Yeah. Maybe? We're thinking about it. I might have disconnected. Nope, I did not. Okay. So we puzzle box here. Deal 3 damage to face. That's exactly what we want. Face damage. No, we want to get the board, obviously. We're gonna get some mana crystals, even though we can't use them. Destroy all his undamaged. Destroy all his damaged minions, which he doesn't have. Order. Lol. Get a sheep. Destroy a weapon. Notably, we can attack, and we actually get a weapon too. Get some hound dogs. Mind game something from his deck onto our board. And Kronk's is actually pretty good. I think I gotta check, and I'm gonna check right now, but I think Mind Games actually steals the minion from the deck. But I want to double check. Mind Games, Hearthstone. Because if it steals it from the deck, that's really, really, really good. So we drew a card, we drew Roaring Fireball. He's gonna Penance. But he's gonna Penance to the Spellbinder. Reno is playing 4D chess right now. Yeah, it's put a minion, so we take that from his deck. That means he cannot Kronks us when he's Galakron, which is great. So he's gonna have to Time Rip, which I don't think he loves doing. He wants to use that for different threats. And then he's gonna clear my board, which we didn't have much of a board anyways. Renew. I could get into a rant about Discovers right now. I'm gonna keep it short though. I wish Discover cards could not discover themselves. But it's not a big deal. And Reno does a puzzle box. This game, this is why this deck is awesome. We actually do have to miss this puzzle box though because of the disconnect, and I apologize about that. We got a bunch of random cards and some Locusts though. Gonna freeze his face again. Gonna buff a Locust. Slam into his Twilight Drake. And we're going to Mind Game something onto the field. And his 3/3. I don't think that's a major card to pull. Kronks was obviously much better. But the 3/3 is fine. He can't really copy one of our guys. So if we get a big thing, he can't copy it, which is nice. But Kronks is definitely a much better pull for Mind Games. So he's going to get that guy that heals for 5. But my secret snipes him. And he's healing his boy. Our hero takes no damage this turn. Wonderful. I think we do want to kill that. We definitely don't have lethal right now. We're counting for it though. That's important. Always be counting, especially with this deck. We're going to freeze his guy so he can't attack. And that's really important. Don't evocation here. That's not a good play. Past me. We'll heal a little bit with this, which is nice. And then we're going to go face. Face is always the place, whether it's with minions or with spells. And this deck obviously is with spells. And we're going to summon a 5-drop too. I think we're trying to push for lethal damage. And summoning a 5-drop with that's really good. Because it's really hard. 3 cards in his hand. It's really hard for him to clear it. It's possible. Plague of Death is a card. But at 8, we have... Oh, I thought we still had Dagger. We don't have Dagger anymore. But we have Fireball. And he is going to trade into the 4/4. But he's going to heal for 10. So he'll be at 14. I'm off by 2, I believe. But I'm pretty sure Evocation's a really good card. But let's see what the turn is. So we shield block. We draw 2 cards this turn. That's really good. So we're just going to hit him in the face with the fireball. We're pretty confident. Hit him for 6 and evocate and hope we get damage. And we do with an Apex Blast, and that's actually going to kill him. So thanks, guys, for watching. I'll see you in the next one. Like, subscribe, follow me on Twitter. Sam Sees Ghosts. See ya.